Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I apologize for not uploading earlier. I've had an upper respiratory infection for like the past 3 or 4 days. I'm finally starting to feel better today, so that's why I'm uploading today. But I wanted to talk about something that bothers me with NBA teams, and 2 teams specifically. Those 2 teams are the Washington Wizards and the Portland Trailblazers, okay? And the reason these 2 teams bother me is because they have done something that I don't think they can actually accomplish. And that is, they have promised their 2 star players, Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, that they will become winners by signing these insane contract extensions this summer. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Portland's roster is a lot better than Washington's. But in the West, Portland is maybe an 8th seed, 7th seed, maybe a play-in team, depending on how it all pans out. In the East, Washington will be lucky if they're a play-in team. And they probably will be, because I feel like Washington might be better than Charlotte this year. They're going to be better than Indiana. There's a couple teams they might be better than, but the East is not taken lightly. And it's because of how tough the East is why I don't understand why Washington extended Bradley Beal to $251 million. Because, honestly, I would have rather seen Bradley Beal go to the fucking Knicks. I made a video on that. And the Knicks were a team that, you know, had they played their cards right, probably could have gotten Bradley Beal. They have an ass ton of first-round picks now. And I just think to myself, they're a team that, if they acquired Bradley Beal, they would at least be a playoff team. They got R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. You know, they would have Bradley Beal at that point. You know, like, they're a team that, you know, if you put a good scorer on that team, you know, it frees up Julius Randle, frees up R.J. Barrett. You finally get, like, your main guy. You know, they'll be getting the guy they're looking for. Granted, they got Jalen Brunson, too, in free agency, so, like, maybe you're starting to build something. A backcourt of Jalen Brunson and Bradley Beal is very nice, okay? But the Wizards extended him, and their roster's not that good, okay? And what they're going to essentially do is none of these teams in the East are getting any worse, okay? They're going to waste the next 4 or 5 years of Bradley Beal's contract. They're not going to get better. They're not going to build through the draft, okay? And even if they do build through the draft, you still got to allow those players time to progress to become the players you think they're going to be. They drafted Johnny Davis this year in the draft. So, Johnny Davis is a very good player. I wanted the Pacers to take him, actually. But I knew they were going to take Benedict Mathurin just because Mathurin is a freak athlete. He's very good at a lot of things. But had they not gotten Mathurin, you know, I wouldn't have... I can't even say I wanted them to take Johnny Davis. I'm just going to say, like, I wouldn't have been mad had they taken Johnny Davis. And even the guys that they have drafted, Denny Avdia, Rui Hachimura, now Johnny Davis... These guys have not, like, really sprung onto the scene. You know what I'm saying? These are guys that have taken time to come into their own, and really, we still almost don't know who the fuck they are. And I think to myself, why do this? Why not trade Bradley Beal and get, like, 4 or 5 first-round picks for the guy? I mean, if Utah can get, 5 first-round picks and, like, a shit ton of pick swaps as well for Rudy Gobert, I'm pretty sure the Wizards can get a nice haul for Bradley Beal. And the more they keep extending this guy, the more they're just wasting his time and their fans' time. Oh, yeah, we're just going to keep selling tickets to watch, you know, Bradley Beal score fucking 35 a game on a team that, you know, is going to lose by 30 every night. You know, fans are going to get tired of that. Fans are already tired of that. I mean, the Wizards' practical cap space is negative $62 million. I mean, I don't even think they can afford a vet minimum deal right now if they wanted to. You know, if they would, the only flexibility they have is if they didn't have a 14-man roster and they were forced to sign a guy to make a 14-man roster. And then we look at Portland, right? Portland's another team. They've locked up Damian Lillard for $258 million fully guaranteed. Okay? The $258 million, $694,291. Okay? He makes up 26% of their cap space. Anthony Simons makes up 13%. He's 13.7. He's the next highest. Okay? The Portland Trailblazers, granted, are in a little bit of a better situation than the Wizards are. They might actually be a play-in team or at least an 8th seed in the West in the playoffs. But even in the West, you've got Memphis, right? Who else do you got? You got the Warriors. They're always a threat. You got the Lakers. We have yet to see what they're going to be. Hopefully LeBron and AD, if they're healthy, they'll be a playoff team. The Mavericks, okay? Like, that's 4 teams already, okay? And we're not done. You know, who else have we got in the West? Phoenix. Okay, they still have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and they just brought back DeAndre Ayton. That's 5 spots. You know, it's like, okay, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, what's this team really going to be? And I just look at this, and I think to myself, this is another team worried so much about loyalty to a player that they might not even make the playoffs. They got Denver as well. That's 6 teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so what are you playing for? 6th, 7th, 8th seed spot? And then for the 8th seed, you know, you got a play-in tournament into the fucking playoffs with a roster with Jusuf Nurkic on it, Anthony Simons, and Damian Lillard? I mean, and to be honest with you, if we're being brutally honest, the Portland Trailblazers are no fucking different this upcoming year than they have been the past couple of years. Oh, by the way, the Pelicans got better. You know, that's 7 teams. So what the fuck are you playing for? An 8th seed? A play-in spot? I just think to myself, why bother? Why waste Damian Lillard's time? Why waste Bradley Beal's time? Why not do what the Spurs did? Realize, hey, the rest of the field is way better than we are. Let's trade our star player for a shit ton of first-round picks and start rebuilding. Let's start putting something together, okay? Because this one-man show shit is not working. And to be honest with you, in the NBA, it rarely ever works. And not everybody's LeBron. Not everybody's Luka Doncic. Not everybody's Jusuf Nurkic. But I see these teams and I think to myself, even if you look at Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, are they superstar players? Are they players that can single-handedly take your team to the playoffs? No. Damian Lillard, barely. Damian Lillard's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think either one of them, Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard, want to be known as guys who were really good, just never won. And I know Bradley Beal's getting fed up. I know Damian Lillard wants to win, but they're not going to do it on the teams they're on now. I'm just telling you guys that now. They are not going to do that on the teams they are on currently. And they signed them to such big extensions that they're not going to be easy players to trade either. I mean, Damian Lillard's cap hit for this upcoming year is $42 million. We're talking Russell Westbrook and John Wall money. I mean, and I don't think, I don't think Golden State's giving up Steph Curry for Damian Lillard. Sorry, I just don't think it's happening, And the teams that can trade for guys like this, the Rockets and who else? The Lakers, right? Like, they could trade Russell Westbrook to Portland for Damian Lillard, but Portland's not going to do that. Like, they've kind of fucked themselves. And I just think to myself, what a dumb move. When, sometimes you have to either shit or get off the pot. And this is one of those situations where this offseason, okay, I understand Bradley Beal loves Washington, and I understand that Damian Lillard loves Portland, but as a GM of these teams, sometimes you got to do what's in the best interest of the team, not just the player. And these are two teams that are doing what is in best interest of the player and not the team. You know, at some point, you know, after 10 years, you got to be like, okay, this isn't working. You know, we love them. We're going to trade them to wherever they want to go, but it's time to start taking this team in a different direction. You know, you can't, it's almost like selling a circus act at that point. You know, you're putting a product out there for people to watch, to get enjoyment out of what? To watch your team lose? You know, at least the Pacers and the Spurs understood it's time to retool. You know, the Portland Trailblazers aren't doing that, and I think they realize that, just aren't willing to do that. Same thing with the Wizards. The Wizards and the Trailblazers both, they just don't want to do it, and I think it's a giant mistake. I think if you're a GM of any NBA team or any team in general, your job is to do what is best for the team, not what is best for an individual player. Because I'm just going to be honest with you, this upcoming draft next year, okay, not the draft that just ended, the one upcoming, has a guy out of France in it that's pretty fucking good. Okay? Victor Wembanyama, I think his name is. Okay? He's really fucking good. So, why not tank for a year, get those guys off your roster, and even Utah realized, hey, we're not going to get very far with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Let's get our picks. How come other teams realize when it's time to fold, like the Pacers, the Spurs, and the Utah Jazz, but Portland and Washington don't realize it's time to fold? And it sucks because I think because of signing these extensions, both Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal will retire without rings. And if they are, for whatever reason, to be traded to other teams, it's going to take a lot of salary cap and a lot of draft picks to make it happen. And even at this point, almost, you have to ask yourself, right? Because both players are in their 30s now. I think Bradley Beal's like 32 or 33. Same thing with Damian Lillard. I think he's like 32, 33. How many great years do they have left? You know, it's like you either get your draft picks now, okay, and start rebuilding for the future, or just ride this out, win nothing, and waste a player's prime, and on top of it, get nothing for them when you go to trade them. Or worse, let them walk for nothing. I don't know, man. I've seen teams do it over and over again throughout my entire life with this particular sport, and I just think to myself, you know what? Sometimes it's time, you gotta, like I said, either shit or get off the pot, and it's not looking good for Washington or Portland. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.